our friend from Tesla, SpaceX, Elon Musk, coming in to buy for $44 billion and taking private Twitter. So the argument on both sides. So his position and seemingly why he wants to buy Twitter is the idea to reinstate freedom of speech. Tell us about the landscape when it comes to this from a kind of state actor and a kind of private company or public company. What's the difference between the two when it comes to free speech?
So there's a lot here because from a moral perspective, it's a question of should Twitter, given how many people use it, curtail speech here? And the answer to that is up to anyone's opinion. People have very different opinions there. But from a legal perspective, it is very clear that the First Amendment protections are only given against state actors. And actually, in the First Amendment, as I saw you read in another YouTube video,
Sure.
it's really just Congress. So it's about whether or not Congress, and it's been interpreted as a state actor, can limit your freedom of speech. But across time, the courts have decided that social media companies are not public actors, and so thus they can moderate content as they wish. On the flip side, there's also freedom of press, which is also part of the First Amendment. And actually, social media companies have also been determined to be almost like a newspaper where they can editorialize their own content. So it's pretty clear here that from a legal perspective, Twitter has the right to moderate however they want. But again, that's different from whether or not they should.
Right. So that's exactly what I'm seeing, and I tell people that, and it's basically as a person, right? We sign up any social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I believe that there's kind of this, rights and obligations is kind of where we fast click through, agree, but in the fine print, you're agreeing to certain things. So, I guess the alternative will be if you don't agree with the board of directors or the people that are moderating the speech, then it would seemingly be don't join that social media platform.
Right. So you have total choice whether or not you want to join a social media platform. It's very different from whether or not you are not allowed to speak on like a public sidewalk, right? So that's the big difference here. So yeah, it makes sense.
It seems though that you cannot, I guess, be in society so much. It's becoming more and more in all parts of life, social media, in one way or another. So it's becoming harder to not do it, but in the end of the day, it is your choice. Uh,
Well, I agree, but the courts have made a big distinction here, and that's that the fact that there are other social media platforms. So if there was literally only one social media platform in this entire country, then perhaps the courts would have ruled differently. But because you can leave Twitter, you can join Instagram, and as you said, social media is everywhere, it's growing. There's going to be a new social media platform tomorrow. There's truth now. There's so many that your voice is not curtailed. And it is important that the First Amendment has always been known to not just give you the right to say whatever you want whenever you want. There are limits.
right. So on those limits, uh, is there overreach by the government to for hate speech or speech that incites violence in reference to, let's say, social media, or is it just governed by kind of that board of directors or those people that are hired by Twitter or Instagram or Facebook?
It's technically governed by the social media platform,
Hmm.
but you can always use that as evidence if you are doing, for example, a defamation lawsuit. Like everything in social media these days has turned into evidence in almost every lawsuit I've seen. So it can be used as evidence against you, but it's not going to be the government stepping in and curtailing speech.